everyone, and welcome to Sweetpea Seeds Inspirations. My name is Sydney, and today we are going to learn how to do this open diamond crochet stitch, which is very similar to a corner to corner stitch. If you've ever worked on a corner to corner blanket or project, it is very similar, but it does differ in a few ways. So you are going to need to chain up any multiple of 4 plus 1 and then a beginning chain of 3. The reason why we do a multiple of 4 plus 1 instead of just doing a multiple of 5 is because if we were to do a multiple 5, we would have 2 extra chains here, which kind of throws off the pattern. So you will need to do a multiple of 4 plus 1 extra chain and then a beginning chain of 3. So I have already gotten my chains set up here. And I did my multiple is 12 plus 1, so that gives me 13, and then my 3 extra chains for a beginning chain. So what we're going to do is we are going to count 3 chains, so 1, 2, and 3, and that is going to be our beginning chain of 3. So after you have gotten that, we are going to skip 2 stitches, so 1 and 2. So in that 3rd stitch, or you can count these all as 6 chains here, we are going to place a double crochet into that stitch. Let's see if I can get that in a little bit better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in my 6th chain, place a double crochet. And now this is where the fun part begins. So we are going to start off with a chain of 1, and then we are going to go around this post and place 3 double crochets around that post. So go ahead and yarn over after you've done your chain of 1, and we're going to grab that post and make a double crochet around that post. And you will do that a total of 3 times. So here is my 2nd one, and then a 3rd one. So this is how your stitch should look. So it almost looks very, very similar to a corner to corner stitch. So after you have that completed, we are going to skip the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And in that 4th stitch, we're going to do the exact same thing and place a double crochet into that stitch. Go ahead and chain 1, and around that post we are going to place 3 double crochets around that post. So you see how I yarn over, and then I'm going to grab that post real quick, and then I'm going to do 3 double crochets around that post. So 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to continue repeating that until we have made it to the last 2 stitches. So again, we are going to skip 3 chains. So 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go into that 4th chain and place a double crochet. Don't forget that chain 1. We're going to grab that post and place 3 double crochets around that post. So 1, 2, and 3. And once you have made it to the last 2 stitches, we're going to skip 1 chain, and then we are going to place a double crochet into that very last stitch. So that is the starting row for our open work, or our open diamond. So now we are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and turn your work, and now we are going to skip this very first stitch because that chain 3 is going to count as a stitch. So we're going to skip this very first stitch, which is that just single double crochet from the previous row, and then we are going to skip 2 double crochets, so 1 and 2, and we're going to go into that 3rd double crochet, which is the furthest from our hook and is right before that chain 1. We're going to go into that stitch, and we are going to place a double crochet, And we're going to do the exact same thing with a chain 1 and then 3 double crochets around our post. So 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to go ahead and continue repeating that until we have made it to that last stitch. So again, we are going to skip this chain 1 and then the next 2 double crochets, and we are going to go to that 3rd double crochet, which is right before that chain 1, and place a double crochet into that stitch. And then we are going to chain 1 and make 3 double crochets around that post. So 1, 2, and 3. So go ahead and continue repeating that until you have made it to that last stitch, which is that chain 3 from the previous row. And once you have made it to that chain 3, we are going to place a double crochet into that stitch. Now for the 3rd row, we're going to go ahead and chain 3, and we are going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to be on the front side now. So our stitches are going to kind of zigzag a little bit. You see how the front side is going from right to left, and then the back side of our work is going from left to right. So it's going to kind of zigzag back and forth, and it almost kind of looks like a weird little cable going on. So again, we are going to skip this very first stitch here, skip the next 2 double crochets, and in that 3rd double crochet, which is right before that chain 1, we're going to place a double crochet. Don't forget that chain 1, and then 3 double crochets around that post. So again, we're just pretty much repeating the same thing, but on the front side. So go ahead and continue repeating that until you have made it to that very last stitch. And once you have made it to that very last stitch, you'll go ahead and place a double crochet into that stitch. So that last stitch is going to be that chain 3 from the previous row, and it's going to look a little, it's going to almost look like we're skipping a whole section here, but promise you that is that stitch that we are going to go into. So the chain 3 from the previous row. And that is how you do the open diamond crochet pattern. If you did enjoy this tutorial, don't forget to give this video a like, share, comment, or subscribe. And if you would like to go check out my other crocheting, knitting tutorials, I also do Tunisian as well, along with spinning and weaving. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.